The people protesting against Trump for him botching the situation with Ukraine and Russia, those people outside the White House today are in crowded company. If you look at the latest approval ratings,
How certain are you that Donald Trump can handle the war between Ukraine and Russia? Americans say they are not certain in Trump's capacity to handle the Ukraine-Russia war. Americans are not sure in Trump's capacity to handle that matter by an 18-point edge. He has 18 focuses submerged on his taking care of Russia and Ukraine. That said, the complete seat survey on what Americans think right presently, almost President Donald Trump is fair, one thing after another that's that awful or more regrettable. Are you sure in Trump's capacity to handle things with Iran? Not sure by a 12-point margin. Are you certain in Trump's capacity to create astute choices when it comes to worldwide vitality issues? Not sure by an 18-point edge. Are you sure in Trump's capacity to work viably with our partners? Not certain by an 11-point edge. Are you sure in Trump's capacity to oversee our arrangement toward China, our relationship with Canada, our relationship with Israel? No, and no. Not sure in any of those things. Do you endorse or dislike of Trump's tax arrangements? Goodness, Americans dislike of Trump's tax approaches by a 23-point edge. How sure are you in Donald Trump's capacity to form great choices, almost remote arrangement? Not certain by a 14-point edge. How certain are you in Donald Trump's capacity to oversee the official department viably? Not certain by a 15-point edge. All in all, what impact is Donald Trump having on the way the government works in Washington? Americans say he is making things more regrettable by a 26-point edge. Americans say he is making everything in Washington more awful, not superior. Would you utilize the word legitimate to portray Donald Trump? No, by a 26-point edge. Would you say Trump could be a great part show? Americans say no by a 41-point edge, usually a pleasant one. Do you favor or oppose of the way the Trump organization is dealing with data related to the government's examination of Jeffrey Epstein? 70% objection on that one. 70% objection. Today evening time, Fox News is announcing that the delegate executive of the FBI, a previous podcast have named Dan Bonino, is effectively out of his work. He is the EP FBI agent executive. They are including another individual with that same work title to the FBI to be co-FUD. So you let me know what meaning almost whether or not Dan Bonino is out of a work. Bongino, of course, has supposedly protested to the Trump administration's endeavors to square the discharge of records related to Jeffrey Epstein, both sometime recently and after it was detailed that FBI operators were doled out to redact Trump's title from the records related to Epstein's case. Bonino, a detailed fault finder of the administration's choice on this matter, some person who has stood up to allegedly lawyer common Pam Bondi on this issue, among other things. MSNBC has not affirmed this detailing today, evening time from Fox News, but once more, the Fox detailing this evening is that Dan Bonino is viably out. He has had some person else given his same work title after he allegedly clashed with the White House and lawyer common Pam Bondi over the administration's endeavors to smother the fabric approximately Epstein that it holds in its claim records. Tomorrow is the due date by which Pam Bondi's equity division is gathered to hand over Epstein-related materials to House Republicans on the Oversight Committee. The Republican chair of that committee says the DOJ will not meet that due date tomorrow, but they will begin giving a few stuff over afterward before long. Affirm, we'll see. But, with 70% of the nation opposing of Trump's taking care of the Epstein matter, maybe it is numerically unavoidable that the by and large ubiquity of this president proceeds to fall. His bolster with the American individual's fair proceeds to drop to, I think, levels that we seem not have anticipated at the begin of this moment presidential term. His over Trump's generally endorsement rating right presently is submerged by a 22-point edge. By 22 focuses, Americans' dislike of the work Trump is doing as president. And this can be something we're seeing increasingly of. In case you see interior those numbers, the nation, it turns out, isn't fair, turning